Let's hear it if you're feeling a little crunched in the wallet department, yes? We have a solution for you. His name is Bruce Sellery. Come on in here.
I could be a solution.
How are you? You know what? It's a tough time of year for so many of us. It's September, and so many of our kids are signed up in programs. Maybe you have kids that are going off to post-secondary. University, they're living away from home. They're paying for textbooks and tuition. What do you do? What can you say to parents who are feeling this?
Well, first, I extend all the empathy in the world because, as you know, I have a kid myself. And this year, the sort of flashpoint of school starting was the acquisition of the perfect back-to-school outfit, which included a pleather skirt.
Ooh.
I know, it was extraordinary. So the pleather skirt is not free. It wasn't super expensive, but it wasn't free. So in addition to the back-to-school, all that stuff, turns out you can't barbecue close to a plate glass window.
No.
So in addition to those expenses, summer is a time when you spend more money sometimes because you're on vacation, you're doing reno projects, all that stuff. So first is empathy, second is a question.
Okay.
Is this a cash flow issue or is this a chronic issue? And what I mean by that is if it's cash flow, like school starting in a plate glass window, that's not a systemic or chronic problem. It's really just a sign of the time of year that it is. But is this crunch that you're feeling something that's chronic and that you really need to deal with systemically?
Okay, so let's say you figure out this is an issue that I need to deal with systemically. What are you doing?
Well, first, maybe do nothing for the next month.
Okay.
You're like, what?
No, I like this advice.
Nothing? What?
Just sit back, relax, and watch some more TV. Okay.
It's September. It is crazy. Everything's crazy. I don't follow astrological signs or the lunar cycle, but there's something about back to school that makes people crazy.
It's a lot going on, and getting back into structure, getting back to routine, I think that's part of it.
So if this isn't a 911, like your lender is calling and saying you're going to default on your house, maybe do nothing, which I know sounds contrarian, but you've got enough on your plate, probably enough on your plate with kids adjusting to homework and all that kind of stuff. The second thing is focus on expenses initially. Because you can focus on expenses. Expense control you can do in the short term. Income you can't really do in the short term. So focus on expenses. That is easier. And then the third thing is start to think ahead. Start to think ahead a couple of months or maybe even a year out. Okay,
you make a good point. It is way easier to cut back on your spending than it is to all of a sudden come up with an extra $1,000 a month.
I'll just invent a new Facebook. That's not going to happen by Christmas.
I'll invent a dislike button.
That's right.
Can you believe they're doing that?
Well, I can because there's much that I would like to dislike. So I will use that button.
I'm never going to use that button.
You're never going to use it?
I'm never going to use that button.
Okay, so
I feel like it's a mean button.
Oh, I don't think of it as a mean button.
No.
I think when someone has bad news and you don't want to say, I like the fact that this horrible thing happened to you, you can say, I dislike that horrible thing happened to you.
You're going to use it properly. I don't think everyone will.
Oh, they'll be like voting on my outfit and stuff? Oh my
sweetheart.
God. Pleather skirt, how can you go wrong?
I know, that's a like.
It's true, it's totally a like.
All right, so you want to start thinking ahead. What exactly are you doing in terms of your thinking ahead?
Well, so you're in this cash crunch right now. There may be little that you can do with the fact that you've already bought the pleather skirt and the plate glass window, but you're coming up to Christmas. So you can start now to say, listen, I'm not going to spend the Christmas that I normally spend, or maybe there's no winter vacation this year. And that is going to be easier to make those commitments and those lifestyle changes in this mode versus it's Christmas and you've got to get your list out and there's another 10 people to add to that. So that's really, really important to think about that. I am a big fan of making 2 to 3 big changes instead of 100 small ones. And my rationale always is we have a limited number of willpower units. Toddlers have a very limited number of willpower units, but grown-ups do too. So rather than trying to manage a life of scarcity, say, listen, we're not going on winter vacation this year. Or we're not buying the car this year. And then we can just relax a little bit and keep the kids in their activities or whatever it is that we want to do instead of trim here and there.
I so agree with that willpower idea. I don't think you can be like, I'm going to be healthy and fit and a nice person and have money saved and have good hair. Like, no.
Oh, no.
You need to pick a couple.
At 10 o'clock, you're going to be opening that freezer and digging for any popsicle juice that happened to drip onto the tray. And at least that's what I would be doing. Abby's sacred snacks, which I say are sacred and I never eat them. When I have no willpower left, I'm like ripping the bag of Fudgios open and like pureeing them, so they will go into my mouth faster. Is Dr. Joey here? Did she just hear that?
She totally heard everything.
She totally heard that.
She sure did. Okay, so we've thought ahead. We've made the little changes that are going to make a big impact. I want to talk a little bit about RESPs.
RESPs,
because that is thinking ahead.
It is. It is thinking ahead to your child's future.
Yes.
And it's so difficult when you're in a cash crunch and you think, like, how do I make the mortgage payment? And do I put the kid in ballet or hockey?
Yeah.
But the RESP deadline is the end of the calendar year. Unlike RRSPs, which you and I are going to be talking about in January, February, as we always do, RESPs, the deadline is this year. Now, if for some reason you can't contribute, you can catch up on an RESP, which some people don't know, but it's a little more complicated. So as you take that deep breath and think ahead and think, what else could we do? Keep your RESP in mind.
Keep it going.
Keep it going.
So what do you dump? I mean, you've got, like, so let's say you have personal savings, you have an RESP, you have an RRSP, and you're broke.
Yeah.
What am I dumping here?
So personal. So it's ABC, analyze, brainstorm, change. The analyze is, where do I actually spend big money?
Okay.
And some of it is immovable. It's the mortgage. There's nothing we can do about that.
Gotta pay it.
What could we do to bring in more income? Could we work more overtime? Could we rent out the garage? Could we, like you're really brainstorming different ways to alter that cash flow picture for yourself. And then the third thing is change. What are 2 or 3 things that you could change? And I hate to sound like a big Grinch, but the holidays are a big spending time for people.
Right.
And if you get on top of it now, you could make a change such that the credit card bills in January are slightly less horrifying than they would be otherwise.
No, I like that you make it a bit manageable. That's important, because I think people just get overwhelmed with money.
It's an overwhelming
a scary
time.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Thanks so much to Bruce. Everyone in our audience will take home a copy of Money Sense magazine.